You know when you're scared of something, when you really fear something,
You kind of keep on thinking about it all the time, don't
yeah,
you?
and it kind of becomes, sometimes it actually becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, doesn't it?
That was a mouthful, wasn't it? Yeah, it does. It's because you keep on thinking about the thing that you're scared of. And then it actually happens and you think, oh my God, I knew it. I mean, it could be something as stupid as it's going to pour this afternoon when I've gone out for a lovely picnic. And then it does pour and you say, I knew it.
I brought it on.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, in that case, it's a bit silly, really. But whatever it is, well, it's not if you live in London.
No.
We do have past trauma about that, even though I'm joking about the word trauma. But yes, there's been many a shower.
That's what we're going to be chatting about in this week's episode of
Get Real with the English Sisters.
And exciting news. We can now receive direct text from you. So all you have to do is in the description, wherever you get your podcast, at the top of the description, it says text the show, and you can text us and we will be able to answer your questions on the podcast, because at the moment there's no direct, you can't answer your text, but we can answer you in the podcast.
Or otherwise you can get in touch with us on Instagram at Get Real with English Sisters.
And
or YouTube, wherever you are, just send us a message, comment, we love it.
And so many of you do listen and follow the podcast. Someone the other day said, I watch you online. And we never heard of her. We didn't even know.
When they saw us in real life, they said, oh my gosh, it's like watching you on the podcast.
I said, I've never heard from you. So there's lots of you that listen and obviously enjoy the podcast. So please, do come and say hi, because we really love to hear from you.
We really do.
It's really that. And also tell a friend, because the podcast
is growing.
Yay. It's almost doubled. We've had double the amount of downloads.
I mean, it's thrilling to hear that it's actually growing, because it is one of our little projects, isn't it? It's not a little project. It's a big project at the moment. And we are investing time in it and energy, because it makes us think. Hope it makes you think sometimes about what you're getting up to.
It makes us think a lot about our lives.
About your mental state of mind. Absolutely.
So what is this fear thing then? I mean, it's like now that I'm learning to play golf, when there's a lake, if you fear that your ball's going to go in the lake, it certainly will go in there.
Right, really, yeah.
And all the mental coaches say as well, do not focus on what you fear, focus on what you want to have happen.
So kind of visualize, if you're talking about golf, seeing the little ball going exactly where you want it to go.
Exactly, and not in the water.
See it in your mind. Stop talking about the water next time you're going to put it in the water.
I won't, because I'm not good enough, so I'm not that scared of the water.
Oh, right. It's like you're kind of jinxing it,
a lot of people that
it?
are really good at golf, one of their main fears is going in the water, and they bring it on themselves, because they think it's going to go in the water this time.
It's going to go in the water.
And their body makes it go in the water.
Yeah, their body and their unconscious mind actually makes that happen. It turns into actions. I mean, this is serious stuff, isn't it? I mean, it sounds almost magical. How could this really happen just because you fear something? But to what extent do you have to fear it?
Look at hypochondriacs, for instance, when they're always fearing they're going to get ill. And then they get ill, don't they? And they might get something really serious like cancer, God forbid. But how many of us in real life, how many other people that do not fear these things get that? So is it just, are you actually ruining your life by just thinking but that something bad is going to happen to you, or that you fear something?
Well, look, I think if something bad, like some kind of illness, genetic mutation, whatever it is, if it's going to happen, it's probably sort of going to happen because maybe it was in the family or something. So, really, that I don't think it's got anything. It's different. But I do think, I mean, you know what you've said about the cancer thing. Do you remember when we had our father with cancer?
Yeah.
Somebody told us, be careful, please, because the caretakers are the ones that are often so worried and preoccupied that they themselves very often may get sick with a form of cancer.
Because their immune system goes down.
Yes, yeah. And I remember thinking about that and thinking, well, that's something we have to be careful and make sure we de-stress as well and not just take it all on. So, yeah, That could have
But I
been.
think also, on a lighter note, I think that if you're fearing whatever, like even that it's going to rain that afternoon, you might not even go out. You might just stay in and say, "Oh, I'm not even going to bother.
Of course,
Trust my luck.
Trust my luck.
How
yeah.
annoying! It's going to rain today, and
Yeah.
then it might not even rain. It might be just a few drops.
Or maybe just a 1-2 drops, literally
You can
a
just go under
sprinkle.
a tree for a second,
Yeah.
and then you're back out again.
And you miss the time of your life and a laugh and whatever, being with friends, socializing because of that.
And you could have met the man or woman of your life.
Why
as well,
is
the
it always
person.
when it rains you're supposed to meet the man and your
Because
woman?
it's like that in the films.
Yeah, but do you think that? I mean, it's always like that, isn't it? It always has to be raining.
Because that's when the love of your life appears.
Because he appears under an umbrella and all wet and ragged, and then they come to save you. What is this rain thing? It's never. I mean, I don't think anything nice has really happened to me in the rain before.
I'm trying to think.
Something so romantic that's happened in the rain. Never.
No,
Come on.
I'm not happy about that.
Not really, no. I mean, I guess, but now we live in Italy, so we don't really, people, when it rains here, sometimes you really do have to be careful.
Well, here
It's quite
they say when it
intense.
rains, don't go out.
Yeah, it can be
Because
quite...
it gets intense.
It can get quite intense, even though it's of Europe. I mean, you wouldn't think it would get, but
I think
lately...
it's getting a bit like that in London now as well.
Really?
Like
The
they
rain
have more
falls.
floods.
Well, anyway, yes. So going back to this thing, do you think that we have to be more aware of what we're kind of like processing in our mind then? We might not be aware that we're frightened of something, but we're always...
I bet you if you're frightened of your next promotion, you'll never get it.
Well, I think if you're frightened of it, it means that you won't take the necessary actions. You won't fill in the application. You won't talk to your boss about it. You're frightened of it. Thus, it's something that you need.
Happen,
It won't happen, probably. You have to get out there and say, okay, I'll be okay. By the time I get there, I'll be able to do it.
Yeah, what about if you're frightened of like taking your exams or something?
I was terrified of taking my exams, but in the end, I still got up and I put the alarm on and I was there at the time
Yes,
of the exams.
so
If
many
you're
wouldn't
so
be, would you?
scared because you physically become ill and you sort of like
Get panic attacks.
make yourself ill or you get a panic attack, then it's a horrible vicious circle.
So what can we say to you to give you a tip so that doesn't happen?
Become more aware of what's going on in your head and mind, your mental state. Become more aware. Realize that what you're fearful of, and try and see it in a different light, as to say, or try and break it down.
You can ask yourself, what's the worst thing that would happen if, so what's the worst thing it would happen if I asked for that promotion?
Yeah, you could
Your
get
boss,
rejected.
Yeah, your boss might snub you and reject you. Who do you think you are to ask for a promotion? Which is very unlikely, but I mean, that's the worst thing.
Do you know what? I bet you afterwards they'll go away and say, "Oh, that person's got they're
feisty.
They're feisty, like in the sense that they're determined, aren't they? They're pretty assertive, though. I mean, they've got guts.
Yeah.
Kind of coming to me. They're only like junior or whatever.
Even if you're senior and you're asking for one.
Well, that's what I mean.
A
Whatever.
lot of people that like they get to a plateau in their lives and they think I've had enough now, like I've asked for enough, and I fear the rest. Why should I have to put myself out of my comfort zone to want to get something that's better for me and for my family, probably
When I'm okay.
When I'm okay now.
Yeah. Well, do you think they should?
Yeah, because
they're fearing
they
it.
should go for it, because it's just low self-esteem in the end, and you're fearing something that's not even. It's like fearing something that's not really. It's ephemeral. It's not real.
Especially if you kind of really want to do it secretly. Obviously, if it's something that you fear because it's something you would never want to do.
You will know if you want to do it, because all you have to do is ask yourself the question: if I was perfectly capable of doing that job, would I want to do it? And they handed it on a plate. Would I say, yeah, I'm capable of doing that?
What about in life, in other realms of our lives, like not just business? How about in relationships?
Well,
And
relationships are the same. You have to ask for what you want and not be
Exactly.
frightened.
yeah.
So if you want,
If you secretly want to get married, but you're
Yeah.
fearful of that that the partner may not be ready for the commitment, for example, something like that.
There's that program I'm half watching now
Is it?
while I'm working.
Oh.
That is it's all called the ultimatum or something, that you have to
just speak out.
Couples that have been together for ages and one of them isn't proposing.
Right.
They say, I'm giving you an ultimatum now and you have to come and propose, otherwise I'm going to they have like a
Move
trial
on.
marriage with someone else in the program.
Right. Okay.
And so
Because that could happen a lot of the
Yeah.
times. One of you could be ready either for perhaps parenthood or moving ahead.
I think
you
if
know,
you really are ready for moving ahead, I think you should ask for it.
me too. Yeah.
Because if you don't ask for it, then in the end what's going to happen is that you're going to have this fear and resentment just building up inside you, and it's going to ruin the relationship.
It's going to
You're
fester.
Think, why?
It's going to
Why
fester
aren't
in
they
there.
asking? What's
Yeah.
why?
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's no good, is it?
No.
No, because it'll just fester in there, causing
It
trouble.
causes a lot of trouble.
So definitely think about that. So it's work and relationships. What else are we fearful of in our lives? Everything. I think at first we're like scared of everything. Everybody is. We're all scaredy
Filling out
cats.
forms, loads of people don't like doing that.
Yeah, right.
They're
Okay.
just simple things like that.
I get kind of
hate-
scared of
I
that as
hate
well.
that
Yeah, I hate that.
sometimes.
All these
But
forms.
you have to do it, don't you?
You
for
do.
certain things.
For everything,
and then
basically.
If you don't do it, then you're missing out as well. You can be missing out on loads of opportunities
Scared
or
of filling
benefits
out a
that you need.
passport form, for example, then
you
you
say you
can't
won't travel.
You can't travel. I mean, but
I mean, it's intense, those passport forms.
they are intense. I mean, this is.
I mean, a lot of the time, say if you are really, if you are frightened, you can also ask for help. You don't have to do everything on your own.
No,
Because,
no.
I think
I
that's
remember I asked your husband for help.
Ask
Yeah.
for help. So get someone to help you.
Yeah.
But there will be like obstacles. Nothing's ever that
Everything
easy.
is full of challenges.
Yes.
Life is full of challenges.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of, when you're a kid, you kind of think that like school is your challenge, and then once you're over that, then it's kind
When
of
it's finished.
Yeah, but it's not.
That's when it all starts.
That's well, it just
Well, the
continues.
grown-up life.
It just continues in a different format. When you're at school, you have all your school challenges, and when you grow up, it's got all your different other kind of challenges. It's just really one challenge after another, and if you're fearful, you can't really get to have that rich, full life.
Yes.
Because your life is limited. It's limited by fear of, like what we were saying before, filling up a passport, getting on a plane, trying out something new, perhaps, because you've never done it before. You're scared.
Yes,
You're scared of
it's
failure.
failure.
Guitar lessons. Who's ever held a guitar before? I'm gonna fail at this. I'm gonna look stupid.
Yeah.
The fear of looking stupid at something, because everyone else is good at it. Like you started learning golf.
I was terrified.
You were. I mean, come on.
I was.
You were terrified of what? Looking foolish?
Looking foolish. Everyone watches you.
Yeah, they kind of watch you, don't they?
watch you
I
like
came
dogs.
to see you on Saturday. I mean, it was
Watch you.
intense. They all
Not
watch
because they're mean or anything, because that's what you're supposed to do. It's polite to watch.
Really,
But
yeah.
when you haven't been used to being watched like that, I mean,
Yeah.
I know we do the podcast and everything, but it's different. You're not.
Yeah, but we can't
it's
see you
not.
watching us.
No.
We're just alone in a room, aren't we?
Just watching each other.
But if we saw all
If
loads
we saw
of people,
you, obviously we would love to see you in person, and we would be, but we would be a little bit. We
Scared.
would have a little bit of stage.
But
fright.
what about the first time we did public speaking?
Exactly,
I mean,
it's
that
terrifying.
was terrifying. What was that group called that we joined? The famous group. It's
Can't remember now, but it's a public speaking group.
The
The
one.
famous one. If
one.
you've done public speaking, you'll know which one it is.
Yeah, and you just start off by like having to talk for like, what was it, 1 minute?
It's like 3-minute presentation.
3
or
minute.
something.
God, I remember being terrified.
You were
I-
more scared than me.
I was so scared, and I was thinking, this is not. I mean, there was
It's
only
not
30
normal.
people in a room.
I know.
I thought, this is just not my heart. It was pounding.
But I mean, it was
So
the UN group, so it was pretty.
Okay, it was a UN group,
Yeah,
but
so it was a bit intense. I mean,
yeah, but really, it was a
not
room,
really,
and
because everyone there's learning. They're all doing their little presentations.
to learn how to master the art of public
So
speaking.
you shouldn't really have to be scared. It's supposed to be a welcoming environment where you can all talk and do your little
Yeah,
presentations.
but my heart didn't know that. My heart was pounding. I thought it was going to
Because you
fall
were
out of my chest.
fearful.
Yeah. I feel like some kind of really, this is ridiculous. But the more
then
I started
afterwards-
speaking,
You felt better.
the calmer I began to feel. Yes. And obviously we did a speech and it was together. So we kind of like ping-ponged off each other. I said something, Violetta said something, and I got calmer the more I, verbalized whatever the speech was about. I can't remember.
Yeah,
it
but
now.
sometimes it's harder when it's two of you because you have to have all the pause. I mean, we're used to it. But
Yeah,
for us,
no,
but if
it
you're
is
doing,
quite hard
if you're
yeah.
doing, public speaking with someone else, sometimes it can be more difficult as well because you have
And-
to wait for the other person to finish talking.
Yes, and then they might throw you off your game a minute because you
They
might
would
not
if they ask you a
realise.
question you didn't know about,
Yeah.
which I would never do.
No. But I remember being so scared of that. But then if I'd never done that, I would have never known that I could do it.
Exactly.
And then we would have never been up on other stages that we've been through in our lives when we've done public presentations, and we would have missed out on those experiences.
There's so many
Because of the
experiences.
fear. I still sometimes I say, oh God, I never want to do that again. When Violetta says there's a
would think
chance
that
to
because
do...
the natural tendency is not to want to do these things unless you're so used to doing them like every week or something,
Yeah.
or every 3 weeks.
We're not that used to them, but still, I would probably still think,
But I think the number
but I
one
would do it.
public fear is public speaking. The number one fear is public speaking, apparently.
Yeah, that's why I was
So
speaking
it's
about it.
It's not exactly,
It's a
something
common
it's a
thing.
common thing that
Yeah.
most people do experience.
Yeah, so true. But I think we've got to become aware of the things that we became like at a certain point. I remember when we started our career, we just said, okay, if we're frightened of that, we're going to do it. That's it. We have to do it because we're scared of it. Do you remember? When we said, no, I don't want to, it says, because we're comfortable doing this right now, we started off with our hypnosis videos. Then we said, because we're so comfortable doing this, we're going to have to, we had to change and do something else. And so we had those interviews where they were called chat views, and we would interview other speakers and other people. And that was scary. And I remember
really
thinking,
scary.
oh God, that's scary. We have to talk to all these...
Because we had all the technological challenges back in the day.
Yes.
Of if the internet was going to work, of how to use,
That was many years ago,
how
yeah.
to record it. I mean, it's like 15 years ago now.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago, and there was other challenges to be had as well.
Yeah, and then
we
were so frightened of it. And then I remember thinking, well, if our mantra is from now on, if we're scared of it, do it. Well, then in
But
the
I
end,
wouldn't dive off a cliff, and I'm terrified of that.
no, not
But
things
like bungee
crazy.
jumping.
No, oh no,
I wouldn't do that. I'm
no,
scared
I
of
wouldn't do that.
I wouldn't do it.
No, because
Even though I was listening to someone on a podcast say that if it hadn't been for her friends or her partner or something that made her do this, that thing where you jump off the plane, it's like skydiving.
oh, do you know, I actually had a dream about the fact that I was gliding. Yeah. You know those things where you go on those
skydiving, but you go.
No, I don't know
gliders.
how. I just know that I was gliding, and I was sort of like with somebody else. They were helping me, and I was thinking, "Wow, I can do this." It was amazing.
So maybe you would like to do that.
Yeah, I don't know about the jumping off the airplane thing. I don't know.
Anyway, she
I think
had
you
to
get on a
jump off
cliff.
the airplane, and then I think she had to. I think it was some kind of skydiving or something. I'm not sure. But anyway, what she said was the most terrifying, horrible experience for her when she realised she had to do it. Because I think she signed up for something. I don't know.
Yeah.
And in the end,
it turned out
she's so passionate about it now, and it's like become part of her life.
Can you
she
believe it?
absolutely loves and adores it.
So there you
And
go.
she was terrified and really annoyed at first.
So there you go. I mean, who knows? Sometimes, as long as your life is not at risk.
No.
In that case, I don't know how risky that
No,
is.
well, it is risky, but I mean, loads of people do it. It's just,
Yeah.
I suppose it's the same as skiing or something else. It's other.
There are other dangerous things.
there's
Riding a
dangerous that
horse is
people are doing,
dangerous.
yes,
Yeah.
that people are doing all the time.
Exactly. Yeah, but obviously, yeah. So the advice is perhaps welcome. Maybe what you're frightened of is,
Also, something that you should be embracing.
yeah. And if you're frightened
reason,
of something, like when we started the podcast, of failing, and we started the whole discussion by saying if you're frightened of that happening, don't think about the negative outcome. Think about the positive.
Visualize the best thing that could happen.
Exactly.
What's the best thing that can happen if I do this? First of all, I'm going to feel really good about myself because I've done it and I've learned something new.
Yeah.
Then secondly, maybe other people will appreciate it too.
And
it
thirdly,
could
okay,
soar.
I could get some kind of rejection from this, whatever it is. I could I could receive a no.
Yeah.
But a no is just a possible yes in the future. It's a no, not yet. It could be not yet. It could be not a definite no. So who knows?
And it could
The
be
person
a no
or-
that's in the future, like if it is a promotion, for instance, that they could keep you in mind for the next time there's a promotion coming up.
Yeah, so it's a not yet, really. If you can hear instead of no, it's not yet. Next time, 6 months' time, you can go ahead again, and go for it. And think about the best possible outcome.
And in everyday life, if you think about the best possible outcome that can happen for your day, it's already setting you up for your day in a really good way.
Absolutely. Do you remember you had one of your nieces, I think, from your husband's part, that she would actually, every time she would go to a restaurant or somewhere and it was always packed, she would always say, oh no, I can find parking.
Oh, yeah.
I'll find parking. I remember you telling me, and she would always find parking.
Yeah, because it turns out she parks like half an hour away. I found out that now.
Oh, you're joking, really? And she just
and then
walks
it's a long
it.
walk.
Oh, right. But there you go. Her mindset
Her
is
mindset
never mind.
is never mind.
Yeah.
It's fine. We
Yeah.
can go.
She still goes.
Yeah,
She still used to go all the time to wherever she wanted to
She
go.
doesn't bother about things like that.
No, there you go. So your life is more open.
Yes.
Because you don't
You'd be
just say,
fitter as well, wouldn't you? if
yeah,
had
you
to
don't
walk?
just say, no, it's Sunday, I can't go to that event because it's going to be packed. Sure.
She'll park miles away and walk in.
Exactly. So there you go.
So do send us a text or come and join us on Instagram at Get Real with the English Sisters, or on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is growing too. And you can also listen to the podcast there via the RSS feed.
RSS.
Or there's also the video, which we upload a couple of days later, so you can see us in person and come and say hi there too.
Yeah. Lovely
And,
to see you.
Yeah,
and
let us
get
know
to
what
know
what you're fearful of. Text us what you're frightened of and what you're fearful of and what's stopping you from maybe taking that next step that's going to be really helpful to you.
Absolutely.
Lots of love and smiles
From the English sisters.
Violetta
And Yutka.
Bye-bye.
Bye.